Shared wardrobe. From around 2014 to 2015, the wave of the sharing economy swept the country. Today, the competition for shared bicycles has come to an end. However, in many segmented fields, many sharing models are still in operation, and shared wardrobe is one of them. For example, on September 7, 2018, the shared wardrobe platform, e-Airsan, once again won the strategic financing of Alibaba Group, and was also included in the 2018 China New Consumer Industry Unicorn list. In 2014, with the launch of Goddess Sect, the concept of shared wardrobes gradually became popular. In 2015, e-Airsan went online and adopted a monthly membership system, with a membership fee of 499 yuan per month. Over the course of 3 years, e-Airsan received investments from top investment institutions such as Alibaba, SoftBank China Capital, Sequoia China, IDG Capital, Jinshajiang Venture Capital, and Jinga Radical, with a cumulative financing amount of hundreds of millions of dollars. Afterwards, multiple domestic clothing rental platforms such as Doraemon, Magic Wardrobe, and That Clothes have also emerged. Shared wardrobes cater to the reality of consumerism. Baudrillard believes that consumerism stimulates people's desire for consumption through the implicit structural meaning and symbolic value created by symbols, codes, and scarcity, which is a subconscious domination and domination of deep psychological models. He believes that the essence of consumerism in a consumer society is the ideological domination of everyone through a false sense of freedom and equality, while people enjoy and numb themselves in the illusions and landscapes of light and wine. Therefore, some people say that contemporary young people are addicted to the sensory pleasure of chopping hands on the one hand, and suffer from the pain of high commodity premiums and low purchasing power on the other hand. To some extent, shared wardrobes are a compromise solution that alleviates this pain. Shared wardrobes are online rentals where you can spend a little money on a monthly basis and choose the clothes you want to wear in a way similar to online shopping, allowing more consumers to continuously rent and enjoy new fashion at lower rental prices, while consumers can not only please themselves through the form of renting, but also avoid feeling pain due to overspending purchasing power. It seems to be a good way to cater to and satisfy people's consumption needs, not just for the masses, but to match the needs of segmented markets. But the development reality of shared wardrobes seems not optimistic. It has been several years since the development of e-Airsan. Although it has gained many capital favors, its user base is not large. After industry reshuffle, the remaining shared wardrobe products have entered the Red Sea. Currently, products that are still in capital competition include Goddess Pie, e-Airsan, Iku, Tote Wardrobe, etc. Many brands such as Doraemon, Magic Wardrobe, Aimei Wuyo, Yuyi, and Nei have stopped operating. At present, there are less than 5 domestic shared wardrobe brands left. Is there still any competition for shared wardrobes? To answer this question, it is necessary to start from the business model of shared wardrobes and user needs. In my opinion, this clothing rental sharing culture will exist based on the increasingly strong demand for clothing in the women's market. It should be noted that the popularity of shared clothing in the United States is also related to its consumer soil. In the second-hand market of the United States, the consumer culture is mature, and renting clothes is not often common. However, in China, with the changing seasons and iteration of popular colors, the demand for women to change clothes has always been strong. For women in China and the United States, one thing remains unchanged: there is always a shortage of beautiful clothes in women's wardrobes. However, from an economic perspective, the income of white-collar workers limits their desire to constantly change clothes, so occasional sharing and leasing can also be considered a relatively strong implicit demand. However, there is still uncertainty regarding whether the shared maintenance cost of shared wardrobes is low enough, whether they can still be used after multiple rentals, and whether there is sufficient market and frequency of use. Of course, for high-income groups, they tend to buy directly and disdain sharing a piece of clothing with others, and are also more concerned about the risks of infection and other diseases. Therefore, for the sharing of products such as shared wardrobes, in order to occupy the market and expand market scale, it is necessary to first occupy the user's mind and change their mindset. However, in fact, people can share non-private essential products such as bicycles and power banks. However, for items with strong private use such as clothing, people's concept of sharing private and intimate items has not yet formed. That is to say, people are more willing to purchase than rent for their material extravagance in terms of privacy and improving living standards. For items that need to be worn on the body, the more private they are, the less willing they are to share them with others. That is to say, shared clothing does not have the mandatory attributes of items such as ride-hailing or cycling. It is more of a sporadic temporary demand from segmented markets, and in some cases, the demand for B-end leasing is established. For example, in occasions such as travel photography, wedding dresses, performance attire, evening gowns, special uniforms, and graduate interviews, there is still a certain demand. When people's demand for clothing style and quantity exceeds their demand for practicality and materials, they still choose to share a wardrobe. Therefore, in the end, shared wardrobes do not meet the pursuit and philosophy of most people for clothing, but match the needs of segmented markets. Risks of business models. From a business model perspective, the current shared wardrobe models are mostly B2C and B2B2C. The former refers to the platform's self-operation, where clothing is purchased by the platform and then leased to consumers, while the latter refers to merchants collaborating to directly connect with clothing brands and consumers. Do not require the platform to buy out and make profits through long-term leasing on the platform, with both parties sharing the profits. From a consumer perspective, consumers are responsible for packaging, express delivery, dry cleaning, ironing, and round-trip shipping costs based on the monthly rental service purchased by the platform. From the perspective of the industrial chain, it specifically involves links such as source of goods, selection and procurement, cleaning and maintenance, warehousing and transportation. However, the platform needs to build its own laundry center to control the cleaning process, and also needs to build its own warehouse, which will be distributed by the third-party logistics company, and the platform will bear the logistics costs. Overall, the platform bears the costs of sourcing, selecting and purchasing products, cleaning and maintenance, and warehousing and transportation. However, the profit model mainly comes from three aspects: membership fees, purchase conversion income, and revenue towards the B-end. Among them, membership fees account for the majority. For example, data shows that 75% of the revenue of the e-Airsan platform comes from membership fees. In the current shared wardrobe platform, in order to share clothes, the first step is to become a member, usually paid monthly. For example, in foreign countries, LE-Tote shared wardrobe brands require consumers to spend 599 yuan per month to become a member in order to enjoy rental services for domestic and foreign brand clothing. In other words, even if users do not rent clothes that month, they will still charge a membership fee after becoming a member. Except for the differences in domestic member prices, the model is basically similar. The risk of the profit model of shared wardrobes may come from the membership fee model, as for many users, they may become members at first glance, but after the impulse period has passed, membership renewal and repurchase rates cannot be guaranteed. In fact, from the current shared wardrobe model, people's perception of renting clothes as a fashion item has not formed. When the platform's user base is too small and the rental rate is not high, the platform's self-operation will face pressure on funds, costs, and inventory. However, as users grow, it will face pressure on brand procurement and supply chain in the middle and later stages, requiring them to bear purchasing costs, logistics costs, cleaning and maintenance costs, and warehouse management costs. And we need to connect with more brands and list more popular styles, including collaborating with laundry factories and even building our own cleaning centers. But the revenue is nothing more than rental income. But if the cost investment is too high and the rental income returns slowly, once the capital chain breaks, the risk immediately presents. Is there a play or not? To some extent, shared wardrobes meet the current demand of many clothing brands to reduce inventory. Currently, various clothing brands share clothes that were originally not sold but were stacked in the warehouse, which is also an optimization of resource allocation. For the platform, it matches the needs of specific groups and helps brand merchants solve inventory pressure, connecting supply and demand, and sharing idle excess resources, overcapacity, and other aspects. For the shared wardrobe platform, the author believes that there are still many aspects that have not been fully implemented. Firstly, there is a lack of content communities. For this type of shared wardrobe app, the main focus is on the female market, and women have a stronger demand for shopping, sharing, and communication than men. This has led to Little Red Book, where women's communication and sharing can drive platform activity and clothing rental rates, and even create popular categories under the guidance of KOL. However, on most current apps, there is a lack of a community for communication. In addition, there are several considerations for the future development of the current shared wardrobe platform. Firstly, the rationality of rental pricing is very important. If the rental price is too expensive, people will be more inclined to purchase, for example, because items such as clothes and bags are easily depreciated, and after multiple shares, they will become older and more difficult to share. Merchants and platform owners need to keep up with the trend and constantly introduce new products. The second is how to reduce supply chain costs. Shared rental clothing belongs to a niche market, with slow increase in order volume, and high maintenance costs such as clothing updates, cleaning and disinfection, logistics and distribution costs, resulting in platform management and operational costs that cannot be diluted. In addition, it is difficult to define responsibility for natural wear and intentional human damage to clothing. Thirdly, appropriately expand the male market. There is a business law that many people agree on. From the value dimension of the consumer market, girls, children, young women, elderly people, dogs, men. Currently, shared wardrobes are almost 100% focused on women's clothing demand, while men's clothing is currently a blue ocean market. But in fact, this pattern of recognition by businesses seems a bit outdated. Men are not without consumer value, but rather whether you can explore its consumer value. In addition to women, the platform should also expand its categories and increase male clothing, trendy brands, independent designers, and other niche brands to drive the long tail and compete in the blue ocean market. Fourthly, it is necessary to collaborate with brand merchants to create popular brands that cater to market demand. For brand merchants, selling at once is necessary to meet the needs of quick profit and quick withdrawal of funds. However, if the depreciated clothes cannot be shared and the rental frequency has not been repaid, it will lead to huge inventory, financial pressure, and resource waste, which will affect the brand's cooperation demands. As mentioned earlier, the more private items are designed, the more people tend to have them for personal possession rather than sharing. If people are not just in need at this demand point, then after the novelty, users are easily trapped in a phenomenon-level consumption fatigue, and over time, user activity will continue to decline. Therefore, hygiene is currently the biggest concern for users when trying to share clothes, and addressing this concern is a commitment and solution that shared wardrobes need to make to consumers. At least the more people value a quality of life, the less willing they are to share the same clothes with thousands of people, just like many people may have some resistance towards hotel towels and bath towels. After all, the sharing of items such as clothing is no longer a matter of psychological cleanliness, but rather a matter of health and quality of life. How to ensure the quality of clothing and service through standardized process services and higher standards of cleaning and disinfection is a key link. For platform operators, it is necessary to deeply explore the clothing categories in segmented markets, such as travel photography, wedding dresses, performance clothing, evening gowns, and special uniforms for supply and selection. There is still a certain market for temporary outfits for these special occasions. Overall, the domestic clothing rental industry is still in its infancy, and how to influence the existing concepts of the public and cultivate user mentality through operation is the key to its future growth. Overall, it will not become a popular choice, but shared wardrobes may become a long-term choice in the female consumer market.